In this WrestleTalk news, AEW announces its latest new signing, the AEW crowd turns on CM Punk, MJF makes a statement after winning the AEW World Championship, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Last night was AEW Full Gear, and while I'm not here to review the show, I am here to tell you some of the news from the show, including the crowd's reaction to an absent CM Punk. One of the matches of the night was the highly anticipated return of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks following their suspension as a result of the infamous events at All Out earlier this year. Omega and the Bucks ultimately failed to regain their belts from Death Triangle, but there was something else very interesting that happened outside of the ring last night. Eagle-eared viewers, or actually anyone who can hear, will have heard the raucous Full Gear crowd completely turn on former world champion CM Punk, who remained suspended by AEW for his part in the alleged all-out backstage fight. Chants of both CM Punk and Colt Cabana could be heard throughout the match, leaving those watching at home in no doubt as to whose side the live crowd was on in all of this mess. The intensity of the chanting may have come as a surprise to many, as while a lot of people have publicly condemned Punk's words during the post-all-out media scrum and his alleged actions in the aftermath, many fans have already forgiven him because he's CM Punk, and that name tends to be slightly more forgivable than others. In terms of the latest reports on the whole CM Punk situation, it really feels like we're never going to see him in an AEW ring again, as the relationship between Punk and AEW is at an all-time low. According to last week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Colt Cabana wrestling Chris Jericho only made things worse as far as issues with the two sides. While it wasn't exactly an official statement, Punk has sort of made his first public comments on the matter during a recent appearance as a commentator on an MMA show. Punk joked with the other commentators that everything is hurt, I'm nursing everything, in reference to the injury he sustained at All Out. He also said, "Oh, I'm bad news, you don't want me in the locker room," which I think it's safe to say is probably a shot at AEW, although CM Punk is usually very level-headed and understanding, so maybe I'm just reading way too much into his very obvious shot. Shortly before last night's show, AEW announced their latest signing in the form of highly rated Japanese star Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita is the latest in a long list of international stars signing with AEW, and the signing will likely have a lot of fans excited given his previous performance for AEW. While Takeshita was given the classic All Elite tweet, it's interesting to know that he isn't actually signed to an exclusive contract with AEW, as DDT Pro Wrestling president Sanshiro Takagi confirmed Takeshita has a dual contract with both AEW and DDT, allowing him to freely wrestle for both promotions. While many of his previous AEW appearances have come on episodes of Dark, Takeshita has made several appearances on AEW Rampage and was part of a fantastic match with former Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli at Battle of the Belts 3 earlier this year. Fingers crossed Takeshita can escape the lackluster booking some Japanese stars have been dealt in AEW. Thankfully, if he is booked poorly, he can always just wrestle for DDT and try to forget QT Marshall on AEW Dark Elevation.
Before we get on with the rest of the episode, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming and hygiene products across the globe, because you know it's all about your balls. Manscaped, baby! As we're nearing Christmas, it should just be Santa checking his sack. You should take care of yours too, with the new Platinum Package 4.0 grooming kit. At the top of my nice list is the new wireless and waterproof Lawnmower 4.0. With its advanced skin-safe technology so you don't get colour this holiday season. It has a helpful LED light so you can see all those parts unknown during these winter nights. And why not stuff your stockings with the Underarm Stick Deodorant, Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray, and even Manscaped's Ultra Premium Body Wash. It's not just live events that are premium these days, as well as the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner set. They're paraben-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and even vegan, so Bryan Danielson will love it. Good joke, Luke. Order your Platinum Package 4.0 grooming kit for yourself or for a partner as the perfect Christmas gift now using our link below, where you'll get 2 free gifts, the Shed travel bag and that anti-chafing boxer briefs, with 20% off and free international shipping. Do check that link out, as every click helps support not just us, but also your jingle balls. Balls, 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 those balls, balls, those balls, balls.
On the subject of Japan, it appears an incredibly exciting match is going to be taking place at Wrestle Kingdom 17 in January next year. A few hours after Full Gear went off the air, New Japan Pro Wrestling tweeted a video of Kenny Omega, in which he challenged current IWGP United States champion Will Ospreay for a match at New Japan's biggest show of the year. During the video, Omega said, "Once AEW was built, there was nothing keeping me in New Japan, so I had to be replaced. And just who was that replacement? Oh, it just had to be the masterful William Ospreay. And how did that turn out?" Since Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks joined AEW, New Japan's popularity has taken a significant downward turn, but it's clear that the relationship between him and Japan is still very strong. Ospreay and Omega are arguably two of the greatest wrestlers on the face of the planet, and I think I can actually hear Tempest squealing right now as he hears this news. Hopefully you have seen by now that MJF is the new AEW World Champion, and if you haven't, whoops, I suppose you do now. Thankfully, his title win doesn't seem to have started any massive backstage brawls, but that doesn't mean he didn't celebrate in the most MJF way possible, interrupting the post-match media scrum. Interrupting AEW President Tony Khan, he said, "The times they are a-changing. Let's talk, shall we? AEW is now destination television once again. The ship has been started properly once again. This belt is now the most important belt in this entire sport, and it's thanks to 3 letters, and it damn sure ain't AEW. I know for a motherfucking fact it ain't MOX, it's MJF. Goddamn, you people are f***ing dumb. No offense." He continued not offending people by calling them stupid and morons, but also remember, no offense at all. Continuing his impassioned promo, he said, "Here's what's gonna f***ing happen. I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to get all of Moxley's disgusting hepatitis A through Z off me, and in the morning I'm going to do what nobody else on the roster does because I'm the only f***ing real star here. I'm going to hop on a jet and I'm going to go to my goddamn movie set." He then finished his impromptu promo, or oratory exhibition as he'd like it to be called, by cutting the classic Jim Cornette line, "Any questions? Just kidding. F*** you." He signed off with the equally mild-mannered sentence of, "Thank you, f*** you, bye. The champ is f***ing out, baby." Such a polite young man. In a more PG section of the post-Full Gear media scrum, Tony Khan addressed Jamie Hayter winning the Interim Women's Championship from Tony Storm, and what that means for the Interim title going forward. The whole Interim Championship thing that Tony Khan has presented on 2 occasions now has led to scrutiny from both fans and the talent themselves. Prior to Hayter's victory, Tony Storm was incredibly vocal for her dislike over the Interim tag, and now that she has lost the gold, it begs the question whether that reign will even be recognised historically, despite Storm holding it over 2.5 months. So with current proper women's champion Thunder Rosa looking unlikely to return before the end of the year, what does interim champion Jamie Hayter think of the whole thing? Well, when asked as such at the Full Gear media scrum, Hayter answered with a whole bunch of nothing, with Tony Khan instead chiming in to clarify the current interim situation. "It's a new championship reign, absolutely, and I've been evaluating that, and it's something we've been taking under consideration. When we get a better timeline for Thunder Rosa's return, I'll have to make the decision." So while Tony's answer seems to suggest that Hayter's title reign will in fact be recognised as a proper one, then we have to ask once again, why bother with the interim thing in the first place, Tony? And it turns out that we are not alone in that way of thinking, as current AEW talent Sean Spears weighed in on Twitter eloquently summarising that this interim stuff is bullshit. You're either a champion or you're not. Well said, Spears. The tweet has subsequently received a whole bunch of likes and retweets, so it seems like a lot of people in the wrestling community are united on this one. Isn't that nice? So back to the positive stuff now. Saraya's comeback was undoubtedly a highlight of the night, and a moment not many, including Saraya, thought would ever come. So how did it all come about then? Well, speaking in the media scrum following Full Gear, Saraya went into further detail as to the precautions that AEW took prior to her getting the all clear, praising Tony Khan and the medical team for taking care of her. "We did MRIs, CT scans, x-rays, and my neck was 100% ready to go. Even I was shocked. I didn't realize it would be 100%. With Tony, he's very understanding when it comes to injuries. We said, I want to take it slow coming back. I don't want to rush back in like I did the last time, where it was a lot of work straight away. He was so understanding. I really appreciate him. I'm happy I got to do this in AEW. I've been wanting to come here for a long time." Not only that, but Saraya revealed that the AEW doctors conducted heat, electric, and pressure point therapy prior to her match with Baker, something that she revealed they are going to continue to do every time she appears for the company, even if she's not scheduled to wrestle. It's clear that Saraya is in a great place, and it's honestly a joy to witness. Congratulations to her once once again. Another notable occurrence from Full Gear came in the tag team title match between the current and former champs, The Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory, where after a whole lot of teasers over the past few months, Keith Lee and a very sneaky Swerve Strickland's relationship imploded. At the conclusion of the contest, Swerve became obsessed with using a pair of pliers on Bowens and Caster, imploring Lee to get evil and rip those scissoring fingers right off, to which Lee quite rightly refused. This then led to Swerve slapping Lee and Lee proceeding to abandon ship, leaving Swerve to fight Bowens and Caster all alone. Now, according to Fightful Select, the plan following the split is unsurprisingly to have Lee and Swerve proceed into a singles feud, likely making the way for some new challenges to The Acclaimed. FTR. Woo! Sorry about that. Check out Pete's Full Gear review from earlier today using the link on screen now.
MJF is your new AEW World Champion, Jamie Hayter is your new AEW Interim Women's World Champion, and the Elite are not your new AEW World Trios Champions. It's time for my review of AEW Full Gear 2022 in about 10 minutes, and boy howdy, this show sure was noteworthy